Yo, what's going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today, I'm going to be running through some test hands with my newly updated Rikka Sunavalon deck. If you want to see what the deck list looks like, I'll leave a link to that deck profile video up in the top right for you guys to check out. I'd highly recommend checking it out because the deck does look a little bit different than it did in the past. The last time I played it, obviously because of the changes that we had to make because of the most recent Forbidden and Limited list. Also, really quickly before we hop into the test hands, I just want you guys to know that Imperium Duelist just dropped this brand new Chainsaw Man themed deck box featuring Power. If you want to get your hands on it, head over to their site as soon as possible because it'll probably sell out pretty fast. It did drop on the 19th, which I believe was yesterday, the time this video goes live, so get them while supplies last, and you can get it for 10% off using my discount code WinterKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's hop into the video. With all that yapping out of the way, let's hop into the whole point of this video, some Rikka Sunavalon test hands. It's been kind of fun actually working through how these combos work with the new cards like a Romage Laurel in the main deck, and actually going through triple Jasmine too. And I think this is also my first time ever really playing this deck with the Therion cards, which feels kind of cool. And there are some nuanced things you got to remember about the Therion cards and how some of the Rikka cards can plant lock you, which can prevent you from putting Regulus on the field in the first place. Things like Petal, Snowdrop, and Con are all cards that can just lock you into plants before you ever have a chance to put Regulus on field. So you got to make sure you get the sequencing down right, which I'll try to remember and walk you through in this video. So that should be enough shuffling there. Let's see what we draw into for our first hand. We've got a copy of Droll, Sowing, Ash, Imperm, and Princess. So I was kind of hoping we'd get a weird hand like this and not just straight into normal plant combo with like Unexpected Die, which was our next card, another Droll lock. So it wasn't getting any better. But 3 non-engine and 2 engine. I guess it could be worse, right? So for this particular line, I'm probably going to start by special summoning Princess and then linking this off into our one and only copy of Sunavalon Dryas. Then from here, I'm going to activate a copy of Sowing, and I'm probably still going to bring out the Loci just because I don't want to burn through Twin right now. And then we're going to take damage. Dryas will trigger. We'll gain that life points back. And from here, I think I'm just going to summon... See, we don't have to summon Healer here, so I'm just going to summon Thrasher. So we have one less body to work with. Now I'm going to link off both the Dryas and the Thrasher into Jasmine. And then we can use Jasmine's effect here to tribute off and summon a plant monster from the deck. Now, we don't even really have to go through the whole Laurel line right now because we are short an extra plant body. So what I'm going to do here is probably, we're probably not doing any Therion stuff this turn. So I think I'm just going to go plain and simple and just play with Rikka cards this combo, just because I think it makes sense. We have 3 non-engine already, and the little bit of stuff that we get off the Rikka engine is actually going to compound pretty nicely since we do have Princess already engraved. So we can get a lot off these few cards here. So we're going to summon Petal, activate Petal effect. We'll grab Mudon. We'll go Mudon effect, tributing over the Petal. That sets us up for follow-up. Mudon effect, we'll go ahead and grab us Con. We'll activate Con. And then here, we have a few options. We could either set the Sheet directly from the deck for that interruption, or we could set Glamour from the deck. And, I mean, we already have plenty of interruption in hand, so I think I'm just going to go for the Glamour. Glamour will go ahead and tribute off... we'll tribute off the Mudon here. If you wanted to play around Ash, I guess you could get rid of the Jasmine, so if they do try to Ash it, you have a Rikka on field for Princess to be able to tribute off to negate. Let's say we live in a world where we want to try to play around that, right? Let's go ahead and add a copy of the, the Primula and the Princess. And I actually can't remember if I normal summon or special summon the Princess. I think I special summoned it, but we didn't normal summon this turn. So before we normal summon, we'll use Primula to special summon itself, and then we'll just normal summon the Princess. If I didn't normal it earlier, then we just special summon it. Then we'll overlay into one of our 3 Strenas that we're on now, and we can go ahead and detach Princess to add back probably just going to add back Glamour for just guaranteed follow-up like that. And that is our end board. It doesn't look like a lot, really, because it's honestly not a lot. But with this particular hand, we have 3 hand traps. We have Imperm, Ash, and Droll. We have follow-up in the form of Glamour. And we have 2 copies of Princess set up in the grave. So at any point, if our opponent activates a monster, I can go Princess, tribute off the Strenna, shuffle the Princess back into the deck, and then trigger Strenna to be able to special summon out a copy of either Teardrop for that quick effect tribute interruption, or we could go for the big tree, goat, whatever you want to call it, the Hyperion, which is a monster negate, just like that. So pretty plain and simple line there. Nothing really affected by the new list, honestly, with that. That was just playing off a very weird hand and playing with Rikka cards pretty much, and using the Dryas to our advantage with the already opened Sowing. Again, remember, Dryas can be linked into with any level 4 or lower plant. It doesn't have to be Loci. Of course, you don't get to search the spell if you don't link into it with Loci, but you don't always need to do that, especially in a hand like that where you've already opened something like Sowing. So let's go ahead and reset the deck here and do another test hand. All right, that should be enough shuffling here. Let's go ahead and draw into our next hand and see what we can pull off. Princess, Loci, Regulus, Unexpected Die, and Triple Tactics Talent. So this is a pretty stacked hand, I'm not going to lie. Drawing Regulus is a little weird. It always is, because that makes, like, I mean, it doesn't make things that awkward, but drawing it's not ideal, right? This is probably one of the last cards we want to draw, if I'm being totally honest. But, you know, whatever else we do is not really going to change because we open Unexpected Die, and that makes things a little bit simple for us. So we're going to go ahead and use that. Special out the Loci, and then we're going to go ahead and link Loci into our one and only Dryas. Dryas effect will activate here, and we're going to go ahead and search out a copy of Sowing. Now here we should be able to kind of show off the new combo. It's going to be a little weird just because of the way our hand is, but we should be able to get most of it. So we'll activate Sowing, and Sowing, of course, is going to go ahead and special summon out Twin. We'll take that 1000 damage here. We'll go Chainlink 1 Twin, Chainlink 2 Dryas. Dryas will bring out Thrasher, and the Twin will bring out the Loci. Things are probably looking pretty familiar right here. And then we're going to go ahead and link into Jasmine. Then we're going to link, well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. First, we're going to use Jasmine's effect to tribute off either the Twin or the Loci. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tribute off the Twin, and we're going to special summon from our deck. And I do have to use a proxy for this because my copy did not come in yet. And there's a copy of the Aromage Laurel. Now, this card says, basically, if we have more life points than our opponents, we can special summon it from our hand. And then if it is sent to the graveyard, we can gain 500 life points. So what we're going to do now is link off the Laurel and the Loci into a second Jasmine. Now, Laurel has hit the grave. We can gain life points. That's going to trigger both our Jasmines here to be able to search. So we can get 2 plant searches here. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. And looking at our hand here, we already have Princess, we already have Regulus, we have Loci and Talents. What can we benefit the most off of at this current point? So right here, I think I'm going to add Lily for sure, just so we can try to get this Regulus into play. And I think I would also like to grab a copy of Petal again, since we have not normal summoned, and that can help get us into the rest of our Rikka engine. So now we're going to go ahead and special summon Lily, and we'll just, you know, equip the Laurel to it. Then we'll go ahead and use Lily's effect to go ahead and search out for Disc Coliseum. So we'll just go ahead and send off the equip here to be able to search for the Disc Coliseum. And then we're going to go ahead and link into the Link 3. So we'll just go ahead and activate that real quick. We could just go ahead and search, I guess, for another Lily. We might as well take advantage of the free search. Then we'll link off the Lily and the Jasmine into Melius. And Melius effect will bring out the Seed, and then we'll link off the Seed and the Melius into the good old Bangalancer. Now from here we can go ahead and use Regulus, targeting the Lily in the grave, so we have that Omni Negate not only on our turn, but also on our opponent's turn. Now again, we have not normal summoned yet, so now I think is a perfect time to just go ahead and normal summon Petal, activate its effect here, to go ahead and search out for a Rikka monster. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Mudon here, since we haven't gotten access to that yet. And then we can go Mudon effect and tribute off the Bengal Answer, since we can just revive its using its graveyard effect later. And Mudan will grab us a copy of Con. So at this point, we have a lot of options. I'm just trying to figure out the most simple way to get to where we want to be, essentially, in terms of end boards. And I think what I want to do is special summon out Princess here, and then link off the Jasmine and the Princess into Dance Peon. Now, to be fair, we wouldn't have to do this had I zoned things a little bit better and gave myself the opportunity to summon Mudan over here in the far right, because then we wouldn't need to use Dance Peon's effect here, but unfortunately we kind of do to try to get into a rank 4. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the deck here before we mill 3. See if we can hit just one plant. That's all we need. We reel Petal, Princess, and Imperm. So I'm just going to go ahead and summon the Petal, because I don't think you have to summon all of them. Yeah, special summon up to 2, so we'll just summon Petal here as to not clog up our board. Dance Peon will target the Princess Engrave, making these both level 4s. And then from here, we can go ahead into Strenna. And we can use Strenna's effect here to add back any plants in our graveyard, which, you know, we could use this opportunity to recycle Dryas if we want to. That might not be a terrible idea. And because I don't really think there's too much else we really care about recycling here. And having the opportunity for Dryas to be able to, you know, be live now with Loci to grab another sowing, I think is kind of strong. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Now we can either use Con here to set Sheet or something like Glamour. There is a line to get into get into Hyperion and have the opportunity to go for Teardrop as well. But there's also an opportunity to go for like Sheet with Hyperion with a spell negate underneath it. But I kind of want to do this line here. We go ahead and get Glamour, and then we go ahead and Glamour effect tribute off the Strenna. And we're going to go ahead and search 2 level 8s here. So we're going to be able to grab the Snowdrop and that last Lily Borea in the deck. And then Strenna effect will activate here to go ahead and bring out a copy of the Hyperion. And then we can go Snowdrop effect, tributing over the Mudan, bringing out itself and Lily. And then we can overlay these into the Teardrop. And then last but not least, we can just go ahead and bring out Bengal Answer, which is still chilling in our graveyard, by banishing Melius and per se Thrasher, and end on this board right here. The only thing that is, again, a little rough is we don't get Sheet and we don't get a spell underneath the Hyperion. I don't think there's a world where we could have, well, I think there's a world where we could have gotten both, but we end on like a little bit more of an awkward board, because that requires us to go into 3rd Jasmine, tributing off the Strenna, and then bring out Hyperion, then activating Con, getting the spell underneath it. And then we just bring out, again, like a random plant off of the, what's it called, the Jasmine, but we still get Sheet. So really player preference, and if you know the matchup at this point, can kind of help you better determine what end board to go to. But that's just one way you could have played that hand out of the many ways that it could have possibly been played out. So yeah, let's go ahead and reset the deck here and do another test hand. All right, so I believe that is enough shuffling for our 3rd test hand here. Let's see what we can draw into. Regulus again, Princess, Glamour, Laurel, and Snowdrop. Again, I do apologize for the proxy. My Laurel has not come in yet, and I surprisingly didn't own one. But regardless, we have a hand here. It's definitely playable. Let's see what we can do with it. Also, one thing I want to mention, I am a little rusty with this deck, so if I'm not making top, you know, 0.01% plays with this deck, I do apologize. If there are some things you can think maybe I could do better with these given hands, feel free to drop them down in the comments, not only for my sake, but for everybody else watching. So yeah, Laurel, Princess, Glamour, and Snowdrop. How would I go about playing this? Now, we do have to remember that if we use Snowdrop's effect, we cannot summon Regulus because we will get locked into plants. The only thing I could think about doing here is just trying to get to our Sunavalon engine. I think that would probably make the most sense, and we do have a way there. It's just a very, very risky way of getting there. That would involve us special summoning Princess and then going Glamour effect, tributing off the Princess to add both Loci and Petal. So that is one thing we could do, which again, if the Glamour gets ashed, we literally do not have a play. So obviously you can see that's like the risky part of going for that. So what I think I'm going to do here is just activate Glamour, just not tributing anything. Just go ahead and search out for a Rikka monster. And I'm going to keep it plain and simple. I'm just going to go ahead and grab Petal here. Again, not tributing right away for Glamour makes it much less likely to get ashed. Especially with how fragile our hand is, I don't want to just outright lose to ash. Now, this hand, whoops, I'm spilling cards everywhere. This hand also very susceptible to droll with the way we started. If we got drolled here, I would simply just go ahead and special summon the Princess, and then Snowdrop effect, tribute over the Princess, bring out Laurel, and then link into the Teardrop, and then end with Teardrop Princess. That's still 2 interruptions under Droll and Lockbird, which is not terrible. Definitely could be a lot worse. So, assuming we don't get Droll, because we know the outcome if that does happen, we're going to go ahead and normal summon Petal, activate effect here to go ahead and search out for a copy of Mudan. And then, we are now locked into plan, so we cannot summon Regulus here, but that's completely fine. We can go ahead and special summon Princess, and then go Snowdrop effect, tribute over the Princess to bring out itself and the Mudan. Mudan effect will activate to go ahead and search us for a Rikka spell or trap. We'll grab Con, we'll activate the Con, and we already used Glamour, so what we get off of Con here is very, very easy decision for us. We're just going to go for Sheet. Now, we've already normal summoned Petal. We have Laurel in our hand just chilling. And we don't have a way to necessarily gain life points at the moment to make its effect live. So we could do the classic Dance Peon play here. Whoops, almost just sent those cards flying into another area code. We could do the Dance Peon play here and try to get lucky. Or we could just go the Snowdrop effect, target the Petal, well, target itself, make everything level 8, and then make Snowdrop. We'd have Sheet available with a free tribute, essentially. We have Teardrop for the tribute and Princess for the monster negate. But, you know, I kind of want to gamble here, you know? I just kind of want to gamble. Because that sounds fun. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and link into Dance Peon here and see what we can get out of this. I'll shuffle the deck really quickly just because we'd offer our opponent a cut before. So let's just see what we get. We're going to go for 3 here. Lone Fire, Sowing, and Con. Getting the Sowing in grave is kind of nice. The Con hitting the grave too is kind of cool since we can add that back off of the Strenna. We get to summon our 1 plant though. It's a pretty good plant to be able to summon, but I don't think there's a benefit to using its effect. Just because, I mean, the only thing we could really get out of it would be something per se like Lily. So I guess we could do that just to get a Lily out of deck. Why not? Yeah, so we'll summon Lily Borea. And then Lily says we can send 1 card from our hand or field to the graveyard to add a Therion card. There is a world where we could link both Petal and Dance Peon into Jasmine, and then Lily send off the Laurel, gain life points, search, but then I think at that point we're just maybe doing a little too much. We could also actually, instead of summoning this, just summon out Loci. I think that probably makes a way more sense, actually. Yeah, let's just summon Loci. I don't know what I'm doing there. And the nice thing about hitting Lone Fire now is that we normally would be locked under that effect where we can't link off whatever we summon off of Dance Peon, but Lone Fire just tags out into something completely different. Now from here, of course, we could link into Melius and then into Bangalancer, but I think that leaves a little too much on the table. We're going to go Dance Peon effect, targeting the Princess in the grave, make these both level 4s. Then we're going to go ahead and overlay, of course, none other than to the Strenna. We'll detach the Petal to make sure that's in grave for follow-up. We're going to add back Mudan since we have not used Mudan's in-hand effect. We'll special summon this over the Strenna. We've already used Mudan's effect to search, so we'll just go ahead and use Strenna's effect here to rank up into Hyperiton. And then we can go ahead and link off the Mudan and the Dance Peon into the, the Melius. Melius effect to bring back the Seed, and then we go into the Bangalancer. So just like that, we end on the Hyperiton. Bengal Answer with the Sheet Engrave. The only downside here is that our princess is not live. If we wanted to change that, of course, we could just rank up into the teardrop. So we have that quick effect tribute, and then once we expend that interruption, we can go ahead and have a monster negate, Sheet, Bengal Answer. Our follow-up is pretty not great, but of course we have Petal Engrave too. I guess that's pretty strong follow-up. And what do we draw for turn? We draw Twin. That's a pretty bad draw, I'm not going to lie. But we still have Con, hopefully, at the end of our opponent's turn to be able to get into Glamour. And that helps us kind of get back into the game very, very fast. So that is it for that test hand. Let's go ahead and shuffle the deck, reset everything, and do another one. All right, deck is shuffled. Let's do a couple more here and see what we draw into. We got Lone Fire Blossom, Con, Talents, Unexpected Die, and Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Pretty easy way to start things off here. We're going to go Unexpected Die, pray that they ash it so we can Talents, look at their hand, and then normal summon Lone Fire. But we're going to bring out Loki as expected, and this is going to be pretty standard combo line here, of course, assuming we don't get interrupted by some hand traps, obviously, and we can kind of talk about here what we would do if we got hit with Droll and Lockbird right now. Kind of what would our next play would be. I think first and foremost, obviously with this hand, we'd fire off the Talents to rip a card out of their hand. And then we could go Sowing. Sowing would bring out Twin as it normally does. Because there are some great things that you can do with this deck under Droll still, with the help of things like Dance Peon and Strenna. Dance Peon kind of helps us bypass with Strenna Droll and Lockbird, because we have the potential to mill things like Con, and then add them back from the grave. Again, kind of bypassing Droll. So we'll summon Twin. We'll Chainlink 1 Twin, Chainlink 2 Dryas here, because if we can chain block from at least one hand trap, we might as well, especially Bell will be pretty popular moving forward. We'll bring out the Thrasher, and then we'll bring out the Loci. So once all these effects are resolved here, we obviously could continue to combo like normal, but I want to play things out assuming that we got hit with Droll and Lockbird, because I think there's a little bit more to be learned than just going for another standard combo run like we did earlier in the video. So what I would do here, if I got hit with Droll on the resolution of Dryas to add that Sowing, I would now link into Jasmine, use Jasmine's effect, tributing off the Twin, not summoning Laurel here, but instead bringing out Princess. Then we could go ahead and link off the Jasmine and the Princess into Dance Peon. And we'll use Dance Peon's effect here just to see what we can hit. If we can mill things like Glamour or Sheets, anything valuable to add back from the grave to play around Droll would be nice here. Just one plant body would do though. So let's see what we get. We hit Sheet, that's huge, Loci, and Sowing. So we'll summon out the Loci here. And then we can go Dance Peon effect, targeting the Princess Engrave, making these both level 4. Overlaying into Strenna. Strenna effect can add back the Sheet, which is insane. And then we can activate Con here. Con effect is set. We might as well just set a Glamour for next turn. And we haven't used our normal summon yet, which is pretty solid. So we'll just go ahead and normal summon Lone Fire Blossom, use its effect to tag out into the Petal. Petal can use its effect here to send another Princess to the graveyard, just to have that extra, safety net. Then we can go into Melius. Melius will bring back the Seed, and then we go into Bengal Answer just like that. So all off of getting Drolled there with the cards that we opened, we're able to end on Strenna with double Princess and Petal Engrave. Bengal Answer with the Sheet and the Glamour for follow-up, with the Con, with an Ash, with a Talents. Pretty solid end result there considering that we got Drolled. And I wanted again to show that off because it is important to know how to be able to pivot your combo if you get Drolled. And just know that if you've got, at least 1 or 2 good extenders in hand, you're going to be able to play right through it like nothing even happened. And that feels nice because your opponent essentially just went -1 there. And with the Talents too, if we got Drolled, I forgot to mention that we would just rip a card out of their hand too. So they got to play through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 technically interruptions plus follow-up with only 3 cards in hand. Well, 4 cards in hand. That's going to be rough. So let's shuffle out the deck here one more time and do one last test hand. All right, after a quick pile shuffle, let's see what we can draw into for our last test hand. We've got Con, Primula, Lone Fire, 1-for-1, and Droll and Lockbird. So a little awkward of a hand here, but I definitely think it can make do. I'm going to start with the 1-for-1, and I'm going to discard the Primula because I don't think we'll need it with this particular hand, and we're just going to go straight for our Loki. And of course, I didn't want to discard the Lone Fire Blossom because if we did that and it got ashed, well, we just, you know, sent ourselves up a certain creek without a paddle, if you will. So we'll link into Dryas. Dryas effect, we'll go ahead and search out for Sowing. Now, last time we played it out like we got Drolled. This time, I'm going to have a little fun and say we don't get Drolled, and we're just going to fully combo off here because this is a combo that I need to kind of learn now that things are a little bit different. So we're going to summon out Twin, Chainlink 1 Twin, Chainlink 2 Dryas, we'll bring out Thrasher, and Twin will bring out that Loki. Then we're going to link off into Jasmine, and then Jasmine effect to tribute the Twin, and that's going to bring out our new favorite level 1, just kidding, nothing will ever replace Loki, but a new level 1 in the deck, which is going to be Laurel, and then we'll link off Laurel and Loki into a copy of Jasmine, and then Laurel effect will trigger here to go ahead and search us out 2 plant monsters. I am always going to grab Lily here if we don't already have access to Therion Engine so we can get access to it, and whatever else we want to grab here is completely up to us. I might be crazy enough to add Snowdrop here, considering that we have Lone Fire in hand. We haven't normal summoned yet, so we have that going for us. So I think I'm actually going to grab Petal. I think I'm going to grab Petal here since we haven't normal summoned yet. But first, we'll go Lily effect, equipping Laurel, and then sending Laurel to go ahead and search out for the Disc Coliseum. And Disc Coliseum is right there. Disc Coliseum will grab us a copy of Regulus. So now we can go ahead and link into the Melius, and Melius can bring back the Seed, and then we can link into Bangalancer just like that. Then Regulus, which I'll summon here, since last time it was a little awkward putting it in the far zone. And again, we haven't normal summoned, so we'll normal summon Petal, activate Petal's effect here to go ahead and search out for... Let's see. Let's go for Snowdrop. If I can find it. There's Snowdrop. And then Snowdrop will tribute over the Petal to bring out Lone Fire. Lone Fire effect will send itself off to bring out Mudon. And Mudon effect will go ahead and grab us Glamour. And let's see what else we want to do here. We don't have access to Princess yet, which is kind of big. So we can go ahead and play Glamour just to search out Princess, and then we can just spec Princess here. Snowdrop effect targeting the Princess to overlay both of these into a copy of Strenna. Strenna effect will detach the Princess here to go ahead and add back any plant in our grave. Again, we could recycle the Dryas. I don't know how great that actually is going to be in the future and things like that, but I think I want to... You know what? I think I'm realizing my mistake here. We should have overlaid the Mudon and the Princess into Strenna and detach Mudon here to add back the Mudon, and then Mudon effect tribute over the Strenna, and then Strenna effect to overlay into the Hyperion. And this is still level 4. This is now a level 6. We can activate the Con over the Disc Coliseum, and then the Hyperion can attach the Disc Coliseum to it. And then we can use the effect to set sheet here. If I could go ahead and find it, just like that. And now here we could... So many options available. I guess we could link off Jasmine and Bangalancer. And then we can summon Dance Peon, I guess, and use its effect here on summon. We'll just say 3. Princess, Con, and Petal. We'll just summon Princess. We'll use its effect to make these both level 4s. And then we'll overlay these into yet another Strenna. And I think that's probably the strongest board that we could possibly end on. Oh, of course I'm forgetting Bangalancer and Grave like I always do. We'll banish Melius, we'll banish Thrasher. And just like that, we end on, for the last test hand of the video, I think the biggest possible end board that you could end on with this deck post-banless. I'm sure there's maybe a couple other bells and whistles you could throw in there. But we have Strenna, which when tributed by our Monster Negate Engrave can bring out Teardrop. We have an Omni Negate in the form of Regulus, a Quick Effect Bounce in the form of Bengal Lancer, a Monster or Spell Negate in the form of Hyperiton. We have Sheet, and of course, Sheet and both Princess are made much more, bigger forms of interaction because we have Con, and we just got this random Droll chilling in hand. We've got Petal for follow-up. So much follow-up. So much follow-up. And we've got the Sowing Engrave for protection for our Bengal Lancer too. So yeah, that is going to do it for this test hand video. Had to end it on a bang. Just nice to be able to do so with that particular hand. Again, I'm a little rusty with the deck, so I am kind of relearning things on the fly. But it's honestly kind of fun to just rediscover these combos and see how they change with the new ban list. And it's nice because, again, I wasn't looking forward to playing this deck on autopilot with there being no changes to it. But now I think it's kind of breathed some new life into the deck for me, with it actually being a little worse now, I guess. That's kind of how it is sometimes for me. I'd rather the deck be different and a little bit worse than be the exact same and just kind of not be interested in playing it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, Winter Kills signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And like always, a big shout out goes to our current Divine level channel members, who are Pony Start, Cadillacs Green, Mizfid, HCH Cyber, and Robin's Assistant. Thank you guys so much as always for extremely kind and very generous support of the channel.